like to call the meeting to order. It is 6 p.m. on, what's the date? May 26, 2026. Let the record reflect that all elected board members are present and we are awaiting our student reps who hopefully will be here soon. Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you've been here before, we kind of move things around a little bit today, so see how it works. Any changes to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Then we can move straight into student staff recognition.
I think Mr. Huddy is handing out certificates tonight. So he'll come around, we'll announce you get your certificate and get your picture here with Ms. Kayla. So we'll start with SHS Staff Member of the Month, Mr. Ben Murphy. Go, yeah.
You have to wait for Caleb. You should move the stand out of the way a little bit.
Thank you. Okay, next up is SES Student of the Month, Riker Robertson.
Congratulations.
Very important, very important.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, next up, we have Gold Bar Elementary Student of the Month, Alexa Gonzalez.
Congratulations.
I got it.
Congratulations.
Okay, and we have two SMS Students of the Month with us today, Tamia Bogan and Eileen Lopez Hernandez.
Do pictures one at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
All right, and another picture with Eileen here.
Oh, sorry. There you go. I'll get down lower.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Awesome, thank you.
That's it. Thank you, Mr. Hicks. That's it?
Are there anywhere missing?
Okay, and then we thought Bella was gonna be here tonight, but we'll make sure she gets Bella Webb. We were gonna recognize her. She served as the student board representative for 2 years. So we'll recognize her. Also, just making sure the community was aware, recently at the Washington School Administrators Association regional meeting, we recognized Russell Wita and Debbie Koppel as community service award winners for their contributions to the district.
Hey.
And the final group, just, we'll talk a little bit later about the bond resolution, but the Citizens Facility Advisory Committee, they showed up when we asked them to meet, and Mr. Butler and Ms. Noslin represented the board in those meetings, and so it's not easy to step into the education world and try to make decisions about what the future looks like, but they came with clear things they wanted the district to present them and gave good feedback on the things we brought to the table, so we just want to say thank you to those people.
Awesome, thank you. And if you were here for a recognition, please feel free to go if you want to not sit and listen to the rest of the meeting. Thank you for coming and congratulations to all of you.
Thanks.
All right. So before we get to the public comment section this evening, there are a few things, some misconceptions and falsehoods that have been brought to our attention that we want to address head on. And as you all know, many things that go on social media sometimes, lack a basis in fact. So we want to clear some of those things up. Because sometimes somebody hears a rumor, gets posted, and then things just get added on, and by the time you know it, like there's 100 comments and 2 of them have factual information. First, closing of libraries. There was a rumor that the district was gonna close the elementary school libraries. No one in district leadership has ever said that closing the libraries was an option. Again, not an option, 100% not true. Gold Bar, SES libraries, open. 5th grade camp. There was a rumor that the district was gonna close the elementary.
Echo.
I don't wanna listen to myself. It's enough talking as it is. 5th grade camp. There's some talk about 5th grade camp and what happened with that. Outdoor learning state grants were canceled across the state. And that is how our 5th grade camp was funded. Districts across the state had to struggle to find funding, or they canceled their camps. Our school administrators were made aware of this last August, and it was their responsibility to inform parents. If there were other possible funding options, the district was not made aware of them. There's a rumor that the YMCA would have provided some funding, and the superintendent was given that information. That's false. Couldn't find any emails regarding YMCA funding, other options for funding for a 5th grade camp. SES administration investigation. There's a misconception that the superintendent initiated an investigation into the principal and put that employee on leave. The fact is, the board initiated the investigation and directed the superintendent to investigate and put the employee on leave. The length of the time that it took to process that whole thing was really long, and we all know that. But it was out of the board's hand, out of the district's hand. We used a third party to complete the investigation. So that was that. Sports camp. There's a social media post stating that the district is not allowing sports teams to attend camps. That is not true. Last Friday morning, the athletic director and the superintendent were made aware of a basketball camp trip. The trip involves the students going and sleeping in the other school's gym, where the camp is held. Our insurance said they would not recommend that due to liability concerns, which all the adults in the room can kind of think of some of those liability concerns. The information that was passed on then to the coaches was that the district would work on some possible other options, but no decisions had been made. So that's another one. District hiring process. The district tasked a third-party search firm to handle our search for a new superintendent, which is Dr. Granger. The company performed thorough background searches, multiple reference checks, all other appropriate pre-employment checks. The board was and is satisfied with the process and how it was carried out. The personal business of our superintendent is not relevant to his position. While superintendents are charged with overseeing the district's business, the district employs a CFO who is responsible for the district's finances. Financial decisions are made by the cabinet level team with final oversight from the board. And I hope that clears that up. Staffing changes and RIFs, which RIFs are a reduction in force if you don't know. Our district, like most other districts in the state, is dealing with rising cost, reduced revenue, and reduced funding. The district had a lower than expected enrollment this year, resulting in lower revenue and overstaffing. When you don't have as many kids and you hire for the number of kids you think you're gonna have, then you're gonna be overstaffed. The board tasked the district office leadership team with getting our staffing to appropriate levels and cutting costs wherever possible. The team worked very hard to preserve as many employees as possible. With that said, every year by May 15th, The district must provide notice to certificated employees if their positions may be eliminated or reduced. What has been released is a worst-case scenario, not a final plan. The district worked with the labor groups, moved staff to other positions whenever possible, and did everything that they can to keep people in a position and keep reductions to a minimum. As of today, there will be one teacher, one admin, one counselor, and one classified who will not have positions next year. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. There are districts in the state that are closing schools, losing entire programs, and laying off large numbers of employees. Because of the work that Dr. Granger and the leadership team have done, we're in a much better position than we expected to be in. Superintendent evaluation and contracts. Contracts renewals are done on a yearly basis. It doesn't add time to that 3-year contract. It just means it's a rolling 3-year and it renews every 3 years. I've seen talk of we're adding 5 years or we're adding 6 years. No, it just renews it, adds that other year. Written public comment. Per our policy, public comment may occur orally or through written comments submitted before the meeting. Written comments must adhere to the standards of civility discussed below and must be received 24 hours before the board meeting. All written public comments timely submitted will be distributed to each board member. Point of that is, the board does not, and to my knowledge never has, and Mike doesn't remember it happening in his tenure either, we've never read those written comments out loud at a board meeting. Never done it, probably never will. It's not our policy. We share the comments with each of the other board members. And lastly, speaking for myself, I'm not speaking on behalf of the board for this one, I find it appalling, the actions of some of our community members when trying to, with personal attacks. Doesn't matter who it is, what it's for. You don't personally attack our superintendent or anyone else in the district. We're supposed to be modeling the behavior that we want our students to do. Do you really think that's a great way to set an example for our kids? I don't. All right. We have answers to questions from our last meeting. One of the questions was, will the remaining capital projects promised to the community be completed? Charlie answered that for, it was Jeff at the last, I think the CFAC meeting before. There are 2 projects on hold pending the results of a future bond election. One is at the SMS, which is lockers, and one is at SHS, which is the sound system, and the rest will be completed. And for the latest information, there is a capital projects page on our website that you can go on to and look at everything that's been done, everything that's gonna be done. A question, where will the next capital levy dollars be spent? There's future projects. That collection doesn't start until 2027. Was there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, if the bond passes, the district will use the bond dollars and not be collecting the capital projects levy dollars. And that money, about 70 to 74 cents will be freed up to offset the bond debt as opposed to capital projects levy. So in the last presentation we had at the study session, they talked about the 25 cents for the tech levy staying collected. We'll talk about this a little bit later on the resolution, but we could also stop collecting that and shift that 25 cents toward the bond, and it would put the per dollar amount in line with the 130 million for the $140 million ask. So it's just a matter of, you know, the voters have approved it, so if the bond doesn't pass, there's gonna be projects we have to complete, and we'll prioritize those at the time. But we're also hoping that the voters will be responsive to a bond request, acknowledging that our students deserve to have facilities represented, the pride that they have, and community facilities that will serve the valley, so.
Thank you. Another question, did we not just go through a RIF cycle recently? RIF is possible every year. Per the contracts, like we said, everything that could happen the staff needs to be let know. And just because a position is on that list, it doesn't mean that position will be 100% eliminated, or even that any position would be eliminated. Next question was, will the new EP&O levy be enough, or will more need to be borrowed? Obviously, with rising cost, it's never enough. You know that in our own households, but it is never our goal to borrow more money. And then there was a statement about administration has increased 30%. I have no idea where that number came from. That's not an accurate number. Those are the answers to that. We had one other thing, because I want to be done talking. We had concerns come in regarding the resolution for the bond. The districts, this is from our attorney, the district's adopted 2024 capital facilities plan is valid. The county adopted the district's capital facility plan in November 2024, and the district is preparing now the biennial update, which will be provided to the county and cities for review following board adoption this summer. The district is not a planning jurisdiction under the Growth Management Act. That's reserved to cities and counties who are required to or choose to plan pursuant to RCW 3670A040. So the various cited statutory authority and controlling case law that came into us is entirely inapplicable. The district, because it is not a planning jurisdiction, is not even required to prepare and adopt a capital facilities plan at all, and certainly not to guide all of the district's capital financial matters. The only limitation on the district for not identifying certain property purchases or a project in the CFP is that the district would be unable to spend impact fee revenue on the purchase. However, the district's 2024 capital facility plan identifies in the finance plan a $500,000 property purchase related to the elementary and high school. The district's existing capital facility plan supports the expenditure of impact fee revenue towards that purchase, so that's not applicable either. The concern of requirements on Chapter 39.33 RCW and a public hearing. While that RCW does require a public hearing where there is a proposed sale of surplus property, that hearing obligation sits solely with the public entity proposing to dispose of property, not the entity that is purchasing the property. And they are, in her technical terms, flatly wrong that the district gave no public notice, no scheduled agenda item, no open public deliberation, no public vote, and no opportunity for the community to observe the decision-making process, because the board published September 25th, 2023 agenda contains a listed business item with the DNR property purchase. And I think that's enough, so that's hopefully solves that. Now we get to move to public comment. And our reminders, total time is 30 minutes, 3 minutes per person. Are you sighing? 'Cause I'm talking too much. Because I am. Public comment period is the only time that the public is recognized to speak. This is not a time for dialogue between the board and the public, but rather an opportunity for the board to listen to individuals on educational issues, and board members are encouraged to listen attentively. The board chair or superintendent may ask a speaker a clarifying question or respond to a specific comment. If you have a specific question or issue that you would like the district to follow up on, please let us know and someone will contact you within 72 hours. Finally, please remember that your words have impact and you, not the district, are responsible for your words. We ask that you help us model for our students what a respectful and inclusive community looks and sounds like. And first we have Mickey Miller.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I understand that difficult decisions are being made regarding budget priorities and staffing. However, I am here to ask you carefully to carefully consider one position that directly impacts our students' success across multiple levels, the academic success coach. This is not a typical support role, and the individual currently serving in this position, me, brings a rare and highly specialized combination of certifications: academic life coaching, advanced life coaching, sports life coaching, health life coaching, and relationship life coaching. This is not a common high school setting. This is not common in a high school setting. It is precisely why this role is so valuable. First, today's students are facing challenges that go far beyond academics. They're navigating stress, social pressures, motivation struggles, and uncertainty about their future. While teachers are fully committed to their students, they are also responsible for delivering curriculum to large classrooms. They can't constantly provide the individualized support that many students desperately need. This position not only works with students, but teachers in ongoing in the classroom and observing students' learning styles, along with teachers' teaching styles, to help with getting the right combination for the student to be successful, and working with the counselors to make sure there are no hidden holes to make the student's graduation plan not be a success completely. Be a success. This position not only oversees grades, but credits for graduation. That is where the academic success coach becomes essential. This position addresses the whole student, not just grades, but behaviors, habits, mindsets, and well-being. With training in health and relationship coaching, this role supports students in managing stress, building positive peer interactions, and develop resilience. With sports and advanced life coaching, it builds discipline, goal setting, and perseverance. And the academic coaching, it ensures students learn how to succeed academically, not just what to study. Second, this role acts as a bridge between struggling students and success. Many students who fall behind do not recover on their own, and without interventions, those students are at greater risk of failing classes, disengaging, or even dropping out. An academic success coach provides targeted support, helping students get back on track academically and emotionally before problems escalate. Third, this position improves overall school outcomes. When students feel supported, they attend school more consistently. They complete assignments, they engage in their learning, and they build confidence. These outcomes contribute directly to graduation rates, school performance metrics, and all-over climate of the school. Cutting this role may appear to save money in the short term, but it risks creating greater cost in the long term, including increased intervention needs, discipline issues, and academic failure rates. Fourth, this position supports equity. Not all students have access to guidance, structure, or mentorship. The academic success coach helps level the playing field by providing those students within the school. For many students, this may be the only constant, personalized encouragement and accountability they receive. And for parents that have lost the ability to get the importance of education across to their child, this position helps them build that bridge with their child. Additionally, academic success coaches can contribute to higher academic outcomes.
Finish up.
Okay, finally, an academic success coach helps prepare students for life beyond high school. If we truly want our students to succeed, not just academically, but as capable and confident individuals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Taylor, are you able to put the timer on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Jeff Estes.
And before I start, the timer's already going on. can I reclaim my time, please? Can it be set to 3 o'clock? Okay, and don't start it until I get ready. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you, Gigi, for answering the questions of the prior meetings. I've been waiting to hear that. Okay, now you can start the timer. Good evening, my name is Jeff Estes and I reside in Startup. Thank you for allowing me to provide public comment tonight. I've been hearing and reading about cuts in the district and the community is not happy. Here we are tonight considering administration contract extensions with compensation increases that in itself would fund positions and field trips. And here I always thought the children were first. Recently I was browsing through accounts payable and I'm just astonished what the district pays for utilities and cell phones. What's with these cell phone bills in there? But I'm mostly confused with the US Bank entries. Is that some sort of credit card account? I mean, 94,000 in December, 53 or 51,000 in January. March has 2 entries, 71,000, 65,000. April again, 94,000. Can we get an itemized breakdown from those entries? Is that possible? And I've noticed a board member's name in the accounts payable as well, so. And what is the school district depository that has 250,000 deposited to it this month? I've never heard of that, but that's an accounts payable. So now I'm gonna provide copies of the written comment by the group of concerned citizens that you received earlier. I offered to provide the written comments to all the board members and my name got added to the list, so I'm gonna do that. Do I need to read the disclaimer or can I just go ahead and hand these out?
We received it by email and it's already been distributed to
Great,
everyone.
I'm gonna hand them to you in person. I think it's important to look through it. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a bunch of names on here and I'm thinking you guys are gonna come up together.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You just state what group you're with and
We're with like student athletics, I guess. I'm Wesley Marshall. I'm a active member of athletics here in Sultan High School, and we're just kind of wondering what's going on with like basketball camp and why it's different from last year compared to this year, when last year all we had to do was have our parents sign something and we were able to go. And now all of a sudden this year it's different, and how like why that has changed and what like could be so like risk taking if no one was injured or anything last year, because I assume that's what they're worried about. And
just like what's different between every single other year we've done this, and all these other schools seem to be able to do the same exact thing, but what's different with Sultan being able to do it? Why are we so different from all these other schools that can go and do all these different camps and tournaments, but when it comes to us, our insurance is a liability or something? It just doesn't make sense.
And it's mostly the basketball camp, but also like last summer a lot of us weren't thinking about playing basketball, but we did the summer things and the camps and it brought us all together as a team. And I think everybody that went to camp could say that probably was the best part of the season, even though it wasn't in the season. So it was a big part of us just becoming a team and becoming more than just basketball.
And it's like we do all these fundraisers throughout during the season, off season, whatever it is. Like we do like the youth training stuff, and people put countless of hours into these fundraisers. But if like I assume the big part of it is us going to the camp and us being able to maybe help fund that. But if we do all these fundraisers, then what? Like, I mean, we could get better equipment for basketball, but I mean the camp brings us all together as a family before anything, and I mean that is to me is more important than any minute on the court, anything being together and like being able to share moments like that mean more to me than anything.
Another thing brought up from like all that, it's like our uses of like being able to use like the gym and everything. Like other schools, they can kind of always just go in it whenever they want. But we have to always have like an adult with us, which I'm saying we could have an adult, but like we never have opportunities to like really go into the gym. Like our coaches, like we only have one coach that has a key to the gym, and our other coaches have been struggling for years to just even get one. One of our coaches have a key to get into the gym. So therefore we can really never use the gym when like we need it as a team, because that's when we're trying to build like bonds and like teamwork and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of wondering like, why haven't our coaches got keys? Why can't we just go into the gym? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we do want to applaud you guys for, because it does take a lot of courage to get up and talk in front of a bunch of people, so good job for that. And just so you guys know, since you probably haven't been to a meeting before, we don't answer your questions right away, but I think you kind of heard earlier, you know, it's not a no, it's trying to figure out with insurance and stuff like that. So just, you know, keep with your coaches, and Dr. Granger will and Chris Hill will work and see what we can do. Okay? Thank you guys. And if you guys want to leave, you're more than welcome to leave and not have to sit and listen to the rest of the meeting, so. All right, do we have?
You're welcome to hang if you want to, guys, but see you.
Yeah, riveting stuff. See you later, Zach.
All right, no student reps still, okay. Campus reports. All right, that's all of them.
Campus
Was
reports
there
are,
anybody else, was everybody with that group?
No.
No, okay, thanks, because
No, you weren't with that
Will-
group when you signed up, or?
Willow,
they wanted to speak. Oh.
okay. And was anybody else needing to be on here?
We were gonna go up there with her.
That's fine, go ahead.
I'm not here for any sports stuff. I'm actually here for the position of the academic success coach. I believe as a student who's gone to Sultan High School my entire high school career, I would not have passed, I wouldn't be graduating this year without Miss Mickey, and her specifically, because even if you got rid of her from that position, you're not gonna be able to find somebody who's gonna be able to support children and like make them feel welcome like she has. I know personally I'm not a bad student. I feel like I don't have the motivation. And she is a wonderful person to get that motivation and make you get your shit done. And sorry, excuse my language. She's a wonderful person that has provided quite a bit of wonderful support. And I believe that, I'm sure some of you guys have children, right? If your child was struggling in school and the teachers at the school couldn't always provide the support, because they can't, 30 kids in a classroom for 4 periods a day is a lot. You can't provide individualized support. But when you have somebody who's specifically there for those kids who are struggling, that makes a huge difference. And I think that if you do cut the position, you're gonna find that you're not gonna have as many people showing up to school. You're not gonna have great attendance rates. You're not gonna have a whole bunch of people passing, and you're probably gonna have a lot of dropouts. Because frankly, the teachers cannot provide the support, the individualized help that she can, and that her position can. She is specifically for helping kids with their school. And I think that she is absolutely an essential part of our school district.
Even with students who are really good in school and can do it on themselves, having Miss Mickey there as a backup is amazing. Like I love school, I enjoy school, and I know a lot of my friends do too. But having Miss Mickey's job there to be able to go to her classroom during lunch or, you know, any time during the day, be like, Miss Mickey, I need help, Miss Mickey, I don't know what to do. Her job specifically allows me and my friends to feel like we're confident in school and we know what we're doing afterwards. Like our counselors are great at like finding classes to take, but Miss Mickey's really good at what's going on after high school, right? How do we get you through graduation? applying her job and not having her next year is gonna affect graduation rates so much. And I think it's something we really should look into before we decide to cut it. Thank you.
I am another student that has been personally helped by our academic support coach, and I can confidently say without her, I would not be passing right now. Miss Mickey isn't just academic support, she is emotional support, she is future support. She's the reason my sister graduated, she's the reason my sister's best friend graduated, she's gonna be the reason I graduate.
Thank you. Campus report.
Campus reports are attached. I think SES is the last campus that you'll hear from this school year, and then next month you'll hear from Dave Moon and Charlie Weaver, operations and technology. So, Mr. Goodger?
Hey, well, thank you. My name is Perry Goodger. I have worked at Solon Elementary the last 5 years, and I'm excited to get the opportunity to talk to you guys about the great work we're doing over at Solon Elementary. Starting off, wanted to hit on just a couple of our big focus areas that our school has had this year, starting off with phonics instruction. At the beginning of the year in August, our teachers from Solon, or elementary teachers from Solon Elementary and Gold Bar Elementary received training from a UFly instructor. UFly is from the University of Florida. Our K2 teachers have been implementing Tier 1 phonics instruction from the UFly supplemental materials that they received, and our 3-5 teachers have been implementing kind of an intervention program utilizing the phonics instruction to help support kind of the kids that are a little bit behind or not meeting grade level in that area. So really excited about the work that our teachers have been able to do in phonics. Next is math intervention. At the halfway point this year, all of our grade levels kind of committed to implementing a math fact fluency program. I let each grade level kind of pick one that they wanted to try out that would kind of meet the needs of their students and the way that they were implementing math. And so some of our kids are doing Facts on Fire, some of our kids are doing Math 99, some of our kids are doing a little bit of both, but we're really starting to see a lot of improvement as students start recognizing their multiplication facts or quick addition facts, and it's better helping them access their essential standards in math. Next, we focused this year on implementing a scheduled intervention block, which really carries over into the third focus area, which is the PLC work that our each grade level is doing at the school. The big main focus for our PLCs this year has been implementing that intervention time for our students who are not quite meeting the level of essential standards that our teachers would hope for. So our teachers are spending time putting together common formative assessments that they then review as a team, and they identify areas that students really need to target to help learn those essential standards. And then they'll take time during the day, they'll get those kids into smaller groups and really dive into that area those students are struggling in. And we're really excited about the work that our teachers have been able to do to really drive that home and plan on carrying that over into next year. But that heavy work that the district has been doing to implement PLCs is starting to pay off in that math intervention program. Next, kind of wanted to highlight this slide here. The main thing you want to see in this proficiency slide is the red column, you want the student's number to go down for winter, and the green column, you want them to go up. So fall is where we would have had the students kind of take their first baseline assessment for iReady. So you see the math category for iReady, and then you see the ELA category for iReady. You'll see in the winter area, those numbers are a little bit skewed because our kindergarten students don't take a beginning of year assessment, and we have 100 of those kids that get added in the middle of the year. So they also can't be 2 grade levels below because there is no like pre-K, they're just below. So those numbers get a little thrown off, so I added in just how many kindergartners were in that area so you have a better idea of where we are. But overall, really excited about the growth that we saw mid-year. Our students are right now taking their end-of-year diagnostic assessment, and I'll plan on throwing those numbers into the board report for June so you guys can kind of see how it went from fall, winter, and the end of the year. But really excited to see those numbers go down. The other thing that can get kind of lost in these graphs is each one of those numbers is an actual student that goes to our school, that shows up every single day, that a teacher meets face to face with and works really, really hard. And so when I see those red numbers go down, I don't just see like 19 students that are in the red versus the 26 students. I see those kids who are working really, really hard to make a difference and to make that growth. And I know that there is a teacher and there are staff at our school that are committed to supporting those kids. So whenever you see, a lot of numbers on the screen, it's really easy to forget that each one of those numbers is a student. And I just want to draw attention to not only is there a student attached to it, but there are lots and lots of staff who really care about those kids, who are making sure that they're learning what they need to learn each and every day. A big focus for me is always going to be student growth. So one thing I wanted to highlight was just the amount of students that grew when we got to the mid-year assessment. So the fall, you would think that student should grow by half a year because we're halfway through the year. So I really want to draw attention to the students that grew by a year or more by the halfway point. That's 2 times the amount at least of what they should have had at that point. So for math, we had 119 kids, so 22% of our students that were assessed hit that year or more mark. And in ELA, we had 41% of our students that were assessed. So 227 students got to a year or more's growth by the mid-year point. And that was really exciting for our teachers and staff. And again, just going back to that hard work that kids are doing. In order to recognize that growth, one thing we did this year that was new was we sent letters home to families celebrating that growth. And feedback that we got from the community was usually those kids that receive those letters are the ones that are hearing that they need to have meetings about how they're not on grade level or they need intervention because they're not on grade level. But the students that were also growing the most are sometimes the ones that are not quite on grade level. And we want those students, if they're going to catch up to their peers, to grow by a year when they get to the mid-year point, or a year and a half or more by the time they get to the end of the year. So it was really exciting to get that feedback from the community that their students were being celebrated for their hard work, while also recognizing that they have some way to go when it comes to getting to proficiency. The end of the year, we're planning on sending out letters to families for students that make a year and a half's worth of growth based on their math and ELA iReady diagnostics. But continue wanting to celebrate that hard work that students are doing at our school each day. Last is our areas of opportunity. You'll see some of these come up when we start talking about our school improvement plans for the next year. But while I have you guys here, there's kind of 2 I wanted to highlight. Is improved parent involvement and volunteer opportunities at the school. We have an amazing parent-teacher organization, and we have families that are really committed to wanting to help support, but as a school, we want to do a better job of creating opportunities for those people to come in and read with kids, work with kids in math. If we are going to continue to see students who are showing up that are just not quite ready to access their learning in the way that we have staff available for, I want to create opportunities for people in the community to come in and get involved. In order to do that, they need to fill out their volunteer packets. So for anybody willing to get interested, come on over, grab a volunteer packet, and let's grab a shovel and start helping out. The other thing I wanted to bring to your guys' attention is the mental health supports for students. The pressure our students are facing at home, at school, is not just a secondary issue. We have quite a few elementary level students who are still struggling with that mental health area. And our school counselors do what they can, our teachers do what they can in offering those social emotional learning lessons, but continuing to find ways to access mental health resources for students is really important. And that is what I have, unless there are questions.
Anyone have questions? Michael?
No, satisfied, thank you.
Mike?
No, great job, thank you.
Marianne?
If I want to volunteer in your library, I think I've already done my volunteer packet. Is that okay?
Shoot me an email and I'll make sure it's not too crowded for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Right, financial reports. I know Mitch isn't here.
They're attached, so if anybody
Okay.
has questions, I didn't hear any over the weekend, but if you have questions, let me know.
Did anyone have questions on the monthly financial, since Mitch is not here? No. Okay. We're not doing legislative report, because I talked too much already today. Superintendent report.
Okay, thank you. I'll start by just echoing a couple of things that Mr. Goodger hit that we talk to our principals a lot about. We meet with a different group of administrators every week, Dr. Douglas, myself, and Mr. Marin, about teaching and learning, and we talk about gap closing growth. We have students that are behind. Every student can grow from where they are through one school year's time with the great teachers that we have in the classroom and the supports. So I think you'll start to hear more of our campuses report on their growth measures and how students are progressing, regardless of where they start. So it was good to hear that. And volunteers, just for anybody out there listening, even the high school needs volunteers, despite what your student may tell you that they don't want parents. Like, that is not true. We would like parents in our buildings. We need positive role models. We need mentors for students. We need all those things. And so I just encourage people to volunteer if they can. And it's a schedule that can work for you. It doesn't have to be all day, every day, but students need positive community members, adults in their educational experience. So we'll find something that's in your skill set. I'll say that. Other than that, I will say an update on transitional kinder. We are currently screening the students that their parents express interest in the program. Obviously, we're still very disappointed in the state's decision to reduce our slots from 54 to 28, but we expect to be able to communicate with parents that qualify by the end of school on June 12th and then kind of start making those staffing decisions based on who qualifies. I think we talked a little bit about this in the past, but they flat funded TK, so it's $65.5 million year over year. So the messages already out of OSPI are, as costs escalate, the number of students that can be served is gonna decrease because the legislature flat funded it. So it has no growth measure in the funding currently. So we'll continue to advocate. We've reached out also to our ECAP partner to try to say, like, you're in town, how can we work with you to maybe improve the quality of the ECAP program that we have and partner with them. Anytime students can come to kindergarten better prepared, it's better for kids. So I just keep TK on your radar because I think that was a huge misstep at the legislative level this year that we need to keep an eye on. School calendar updates, we put in the community newsletter last week. We have reached some base skeleton calendar agreements with our teachers union. First day of school is Wednesday, September 9th. That's the day after Labor Day, the Wednesday after Labor Day, so consistent with the past. It's just later this year. Once every 7 years it happens that way. That'll be grades 1 through 12, and then kindergartners start the following Monday on the 14th, and that's so that the students can come in and have family meetings with the teacher over the 3 days before that. The winter break is gonna start on Monday, December 21st, and end on Friday, January 1st. And spring break is the first full week in April, which is Monday, April 5th through Friday, April 9th. We are having discussions about things like conferences and the differences for conferences for elementary versus secondary and some ideas around how that may look different. So those things we don't have totally ironed out yet, but hopefully those parameters will help people. And we don't have an end date because we don't have all the PD dates calculated in. So we'll get that out as soon as we can, but hopefully this helps people start to plan the best that they can. Last month I mentioned we had a boundary change request from a small group of homes on the Monroe-Sultan border. There's the 90-day window. Continue to work with the ESD and the Monroe School District Superintendent on that process. No updates to report other than just let you know we're still working on it. Mentioned the CFAC earlier. I think really appreciated the short version of this is the first meeting was just me listening and our team listening to them as far as what they wanted to be different from their past experiences on the CFAC and what were the things they wanted to make sure that we brought to the table. And so things like long-term vision and planning were important. So it's not easy to show up on a volunteer basis every month. We did skip December because we were closed from the flood days, so we did miss a month, but to be able to sit and contemplate what's the future of the district, not just in 2026, but what does it look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, maximizing state match dollars. We appreciate them, and their work's not done. We continue to work with that group and say we need, bless you, people tracking projects as they start if the bond passes, and also a strong citizens committee. And so we still lean on those people. They have generally more background than others because they've come and been informed throughout the process, so they have a little bit more process. At your seats, you have the very, very conceptual drawings of a high school and the Gold Bar expansion that came from the architect. There's always a balance of doing too much where people think you weren't gonna seek feedback. If you actually sketch out the front of a building, then they think you weren't gonna seek feedback. So it is really an overlay on the property in a way to show that the property on the basin has enough room for the high school and a future school site. So I just wanted to thank those people and make sure that they heard me say that their work's not done, because we still have meetings to go. Also attached to the bond, we did meet with OSPI about the SCAP funding. We've asked them to recalculate their numbers on SCAP because they were working on the 24 numbers that the district had previously submitted. So the first week of June, we expect that number to go up in SCAP funding, because the more special ed students you have, the more SCAP you can qualify for as a multiplier. What are we up to,
Almost 450.
450 in the district? We started the year at 382, so we'll be following up with that. I mentioned it earlier, but remind you that if the capital levy wouldn't be collected if the bond passed, because we would use the bond dollars, because bonds can be for building. And also that we have the 25 cents from the tech levy that we left in collection that we could take off and then refigure our technology expenditures. What do we save, reduce, to free up taxpayer resources if that's the desire. So we do have some flexibility. Next up, I would say labor update. We continue to have good meetings with all of our labor partners. You'll see in the consent agenda, we have settled our contract agreement with PSE. And I know that was not easy for them or the district, knowing that anything that the district resourced above what the state provided came at the expense of positions, which we heard tonight. That wasn't the district's interest, as the board has expressed as well. But we know that things are expensive and they represent all their members, and we appreciate their partnership. And I think that's important. And we've had good meetings with Teamsters about transportation and teachers. We have meetings with both of them the next couple weeks, so we expect those to progress as well. I think Teamsters will likely be done by the end of school year, and teachers, we have most of our dates are before school year's out. We've put some holds on some dates in the summer, just if they're needed. So it's a very, it's a hard process. There's a lot of interests, and they're representing theirs, and we appreciate their partnership. It's been collaborative. It doesn't always feel great when you're in that. I think, we talked a little bit last month, but and you heard from Ms. Miller in public comment, and you heard from some students. Just a reminder, our district is funded for 3.8 paraeducators for our entire district.
How many do we have on staff?
Oh, we have 24 special ed and 17 paraeducator positions that are funded locally. And that's not enough. I mean, we know the classified unit is the most underfunded and understaffed under the prototypical model. There's no question about that. And we did ask our labor partners to join us in advocating in Olympia. We need to tell our stories, because for our size district, that's basically one paraeducator per building. It's not sufficient for kids. And I wanna make sure that doesn't say anything about the work that people do or the value that they have, because we need more of Mickey Millers in our district. And those need to be our stories. I hope those students will join us in Olympia so that their voice is heard there, not just here, where maybe we can start to see the needle move a little bit, because that's important. Those stories are important, and they should be told. And they have listened to board members and superintendents beat this drum since 2019, when they believe they fixed the funding through McCleary, and more we can get our community members and students to join us in advocating, which is a focus of the board, advocating for meaningful change. That's a community service effort. That's for the people that live here, that work here, that have lived here a long time, that support our kids every day. And they're important, so thank you. Gigi hit earlier on our update to the RIF, currently, right now, we, as she said, 1 administrator, 2 certificated staff members, and 1 classified staff member who do not have employment with the district next year. So from where we started and what was possible, and we have a lot of work to do. The insurance premium, we got notified on Friday, the 8th of May, that the 18% increase that they had projected in February was wrong, and we got our actual increase of 50.1% to the cost of $339,000. We did not account for that in the reduction plan that we showed you because we didn't know that at the time. So we are, as you know, Mitch has told you, we're in a spending freeze. He's assessing the savings from those efforts to see what's possible in the future. We still need safety net to come in. We need tax collection to come in from the spring. Those are all the unknowns that when you have a May 15th deadline, you're doing a lot of projecting. And I know we talked about it last month too, that we're gonna hire more in the fall than in the spring. We're gonna make sure kids show up. We're up to 55 students of interest in the parent partnership program. But that also impacts if they're coming out of general ed, then it's impacting that side as well. So a lot of unknowns still, but a lot of work happening, and appreciate the efforts of everyone from every department and every building that's trying to assess, like, is this a have to have right now? So that we can try to steady the ship. But I sent you last week, and I brought it with me if you need it, the copy of what the insurance carriers are asking the legislature to do as far as putting parameters around tort claims and isolating school districts so that we're less at risk for things. And so I think that's gonna continue to be an effort that you're gonna hear across all districts, because as a percentage increase, there are districts in our county whose premium is $24 or more million a year. So if they saw a 50% increase, it's all scalable, right? But it's not sustainable. So, and it makes a local impact, which is the part that really sucks. But we gotta join arms and get to Olympia and tell our stories and tell our kids' stories and advocate for what's actually needed to run a school district in a day where students have way more needs than they've ever had before. And unfortunately, fortunately, I think educators as a profession tend to lean in and just do more than's asked of them. And so when people go away, even at the district office, when we cut 1.6 positions, that just means Dr. Douglas and myself pick up more work. It means teachers pick up more work. It means secretaries pick up more work. We're trying to find a way to be able to articulate to our community the impact of that, because on the customer side, I'm not sure they always see it, because people just work more hours than they're supposed to, or do more things than they're asked to do, and so, because they don't want kids to suffer. But our community and communities across our state still need to have a way to be able to know the impacts of these types of funding decisions, because they're impactful. And we can't keep going to the well for the same limited number of people that we're funded for and say, please keep doing more with less, because that's not the answer. So. Last thing I have is I made you a copy, all the dates of upcoming events as we approach the end of the school year, from kindergarten to 5th grade to 8th grade to high school to all the dates that are coming up. So hopefully you'll be able to join some of those, and if there's something that you need from me or the team, just let me know.
Thank you.
One question.
Yes.
On TK.
Yes.
How many applied versus positions?
71. We have 28 slots. We had 54 filled slots this year.
Yeah. So you don't have to answer now, but I know there was another discussion I had with Dr. Douglas a few weeks ago. Have we entertained anything on offering the ones that do not get it a parent partnership, to see if there's any interest in bringing those individuals into parent partnership?
We've had a really early conversation with Ms. Anderson about what preschool parent partnership could look like, because it's also outside of basic ed funding. So that's the trick is, we don't, the interesting thing is OSPI came out and said, well, you could charge tuition for TK. Well, to generate the revenue that you need to offset the expenses of the staff that you would need in those programs based on how they tell you to staff it, it would make the price point out of the reach for most of the people in our community and probably create a greater equity issue, which is the whole point of prioritization. I don't know a better word than disappointed to say we filled 54 last year, had a waiting list. We're in an area where we are the provider primarily versus districts that are much closer to private resources and easier to access. And I had hoped that we wouldn't see, when they said 25%, I was curious, and we were curious how they were gonna apply that reduction, because we saw basically a 50% reduction. So although they said 25% across the state, we saw a double that, which I could have understood if we weren't filling our slots but we have a waiting list of people.
Just wondering, even if we were to ask, are there any preschools or daycares that would partner with the school with the curriculum? And are there any grants that we can turn people on to or whatever, because it's such a powerful program?
Yes.
So, and sorry to drop it on.
No,
you.
you're good. When you have programs taught by certified teachers, they're going to be superior to things. Those teachers know, they've been doing this a long time. They know what students need to be ready for kindergarten. The data is really clear, not just in our district, but across the state, that this was the most impactful investment in early learning.
Yeah.
And,
Having almost 50 students.
Yeah.
That aren't going to receive that.
Right.
It's very disappointing.
Yes.
Kicking them butt in. Thank you. Does anyone have any comments, questions for consent agenda? If not, can I get a motion to approve consent agenda?
I'll vote to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor to approve consent agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes.
Enthusiastic.
Maybe. Are you here for awards? No, okay. Just wanted to make sure. All right, approval of WASDA critical policies, policy review.
So this is not nearly the next 25 that they sent us, but it was the 5 that we could get through for this meeting. You'll see some more in June. As you remember, they identified 150 critical policies that were desperately in need of updating to be compliant with either legal or legislative actions. So this is an 6213 we put in there. It's the one you saw last month. But Mitch has looked at all the ones in the 6,000. Mr. Marin, Dr. Douglas, and myself have looked at 3131, which has to do with student attendance areas within the same district. And so just asking for the board to approve these at first reading.
Did anyone have any questions on these? Michael,
No questions.
No.
Isaac, Marianne?
My 3131 showed a 403 error. I couldn't access it. And so I'll email Kayla so she can follow it. So I'm gonna abstain from 3131 because I haven't read it.
They're all getting, it's all, if you want to abstain from the whole thing, because we're doing them all at once, one group. Do you want to
Oh.
abstain from the whole thing?
No, I'll just follow up with you.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve WASDA critical policies 3131, 6213, 6910, 6920, and 6955?
I don't think anyone wants to repeat all that.
Motion to approve
That.
what Gigi said.
You can say the WASDA.
First
So we
read.
motion to approve first read of WASDA critical
Critical
policies 3131, 6213, 6910, 6920, and 6955. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, carries. We have approval of resolution 2510 bond measure.
Yeah, so just following up on, I think a lot of questions were addressed tonight, but I did give you on your stand there, the updated packet from the $140 million versus the $130 million that Trevor had presented on in the study session. It shows you the dollar, so there's a stapled packet, that's the 140, and then there's an individual page, which is the 130 that you saw before, just so that you knew what you saw last month versus what you're seeing now. That's why I remind you that we kept the 25 cents of tech levy on there, so when you see the previous rate was $3.85, the combined rate being 418, we can take that down to 392, 387 by removing the tag levy collection if we want to, that's not a problem. The intention of bringing the resolution was to try, if there was consensus amongst the board, based on the CFAC recommendation, that we would have a couple weeks before school got out to talk to people about this before they left for the summer. The resolution is not due to the county elections office till August 3rd or 4th. Election date's November 3rd. I also, Isaac, I know last month, I mean, this is a big ask and we know that, and I don't know what people will say. I don't know how to answer how we're going to keep all of our buildings continuing to stand up without a community investment in a bond at some point, if it's not in November, February, or 27 or 28. I feel like a lot of good work went into this, getting feedback from people. It's just expensive to do anything these days, and yeah,
And I know we had the concerns that were emailed that we all
Yes.
got, and then we got paper copies of it today that we sent to the
Yes.
attorney to take a look at and came back with.
Yeah.
Basically, we're in the clear.
Yeah, both the attorney that drafted the resolution and the attorney that does the district's capital facilities plan have saw the questions, responded to them, and assured the district we're in good standing to proceed forward if we choose to. I am not an expert in all things. I'm intelligent about a lot, but I also rely on the experts that we retain for these types of things to make sure we're not making missteps, because this is other people's money. And we need to make sure that we do all the things to be upfront and honest about what it is. I really was hoping that Bella and Olivia would be here because our students communicate so strongly their desire for facilities that represent the pride they have in their school, much better than I can, because they live it every day.
Well, and I just wanna be clear that the concerns that we received yesterday, I believe it was, have been addressed, and
Yes.
we're comfortable with the answers that we received from the attorneys.
Yes.
And that was, we got that, but the public hasn't got that. So my comfort level is tabling the topic until we can bring the response from our attorneys. Like every meeting, we respond to previous meeting comments.
That's the stuff I preemptively responded
Yeah, she
to.
responded this morning.
So the public
Beginning of
knows
the
as
meeting.
of today.
Okay.
Questions, concerns, comments?
And Marianne, if it'd be helpful, we can reduce that to a not privileged document with some FAQs about the property purchase or,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm
Yes,
happy to
please. I'd
do
like
that.
that
'Cause what we
information to
have
be
is, yeah.
public.
Which we would do anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we are trying to build trust. It's a new leadership team, it's new finance, it's, there's a lot of new.
Cause yeah, I just want it to be made clear that we're not ignoring what we received, we already got it, sent it out, got responses, which is pretty quick for attorneys to get back to us. That was
And
nice.
my hope is going into the second year that I'm here, people will start to show up to more of the community engagement activities like supper with the superintendent, parent advisory, and ask these questions so that we can start to have a dialogue that we all know is hard to have a dialogue in a board meeting because it's not intended to
It's
be
not two-way.
a dialogue. It's the board's meeting in public, not the other. And so hopefully, we can continue to put ourselves out there in environments where people feel increasingly comfortable to ask questions.
Which I was gonna touch on that earlier, but we'll touch on that before we adjourn. But Michael, do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
This can has been kicked down the road for too long. I mean, it's never a good time to spend a lot of money. I just had to drop another 30 grand on home repair that I didn't expect, and it's hard when you don't see it coming, but we haven't put up a new school in such a long time. This community has just continued to grow. I don't see how we can not try to pass a bond and build a school.
Mike?
In 2016, when the bond failed, it kind of inspired me to get involved with the school board. It was cheaper then, the CFAC prior to COVID. There was another bond that we put together that we were gonna propose. It was much cheaper than the one we're proposing right now. Every year that we kick this down the road, it's not gonna get any cheaper. So, and our schools are not getting any better.
And our maintenance people do great work. I mean,
They're doing it the best they can, but if we walk into other schools, and I know a lot of our students do, when they go to sporting events or visit other schools, it's a definite change or difference between our schools and their schools. And so we have to do this for our students. And that's what we have to make sure we're prioritizing our students, not only current, but future. And so that's why I think it's really, really important that we get behind the bond. There's gonna be lots of questions. We have to improve our communication this time. We have to make sure to, whatever we possibly can to get that word out. It's not gonna be easy on anybody, but the further we, like Michael said, kick it down the road, it's not gonna get any cheaper.
I agree, it's, if we would have done it a long time ago, costs would have been a lot less. I was just in Yakima for a WASDA thing and in one of the elementary schools, and they have, it's almost 90% free and reduced lunch, but they just passed a bond to build a brand new school, and like just the excitement, and you could, like, the little kids knew, like, we're getting a new school, you know, and it was something that I would love to see our community get behind. Isaac?
I want it to happen. My concern last month was
Yeah.
staffing. That was my concern. We're already having a struggle staffing properly right now. We add more, but it doesn't mean I don't want this to happen. My frustration's not with us or our school district, it's with the lack of money we all have. And that was my only hiccup is, that's a whole nother building, more utilities, more everything, which this community definitely needs. It would be huge to do it. But that was my only hiccup, was we gotta figure out how to staff it properly, that's all. But I'm behind it, it's just, there's my concerns.
Marianne?
Oh, I've been wanting this for a long time, but I do listen to my constituents, and so I would rather sit on it until not the study session, but the regular meeting next month and let more people give us some input. And Dr. Granger told me that the 2026-2031 capital facility plan is almost to draft form for this cycle, and I would like to get a look at what they've been working on in the new CFP. And so that's where I'm sitting. I really wanna do it. I've been wanting this for a long time, but I also listen to
Well, I will say that like the capital, CFAC has met, I don't know how many times. So there's been a ton of opportunity for people to listen to that. And constituents, like I told you the other day, my constituents are the students. And the students need this, and we are here to, you know, keep the taxpayers and our community in mind, but our primary goal is the kids, and the kids need it.
And I agree with you guys. The kids, they don't have pride in our schools when they go to see other schools and go, wow.
If there's no other go ahead.
Ultimately, you know, voters will decide whether or not they
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
You know, ours is to put up the best, I don't wanna say argument, but the best point across to them, or try to make them understand our side. And they may understand it entirely and still disagree with it. I hope not. But I think, yeah, there's some people, there are absolutely gonna be people that vote no, no matter how convincing we are. The whole point is how many of them, how few of them say no? How many can we get to agree?
And we can learn from the ones that say no and find
Yeah.
out why they said no, and then what can we change and do differently if we have to do it again.
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to, can we continue to ignore the buildings? I don't think we can.
No, Dr. Chris did say that we had a little bit of time before the resolution absolutely had to be passed, so it could be
That's true.
filed to go on the ballot.
That's true. I think this is more just to get more information to kids and students before the school years.
And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the good point is that bonds and staffing are two different buckets of money.
I know.
So
The
it's,
bond is
we
not
can
the bond money,
advocate for
it's the
both.
other money.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Like we just have to be clear, cause I think that's still misinformation in our community that like, well, bond dollars could be used for this. It can't be, which we all know. It's just making sure more people understand that. Cause no, as I said earlier, I think
That's
advocating.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we get the bond to pass, here's the money for the buildings. But that other side doesn't grow with it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Agreed.
Well, let's see if we even have a motion. So do we have a motion to approve resolution 2510, the bond measure?
Motion to approve 2510 bond measure.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain,
Opposed?
me.
Motion carries.
Are you opposed or
Opposed or
abstaining?
abstained?
I'm opposed. I'd rather wait one more month.
Okay, thank you. We just wanna get the vote right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I wanted to state it clearly.
Yeah, no worries, thank you.
Thank you. All right, before we adjourn, something I forgot to bring up earlier, communication opportunities. With all of the questions and concerns and rumors and all that kind of stuff, we wanna make sure that we communicate with our community as much as possible and as best as possible. Obviously, we have meetings. Dr. Granger sends out a community newsletter every week. He does a supper with the super once a month. And then we have Parent Square, correct?
Parent advisory. Parent Square is how the message gets out,
Right.
yes.
And then we have a parent advisory. So if there are, there's a lot of ways that the message goes out, but if people aren't getting that message, or it's being muddled or, anything like that, let us know if there's a better way that you'd prefer to get your information. Obviously, we're not all on social media all day long to pass this stuff out. But if there are other ways that you'd like to get that information, please let us know. Because we want to be as open and transparent as we can be with that correct factual information. Am I forgetting anything?
No.
Okay. All right, we have no executive session, so do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion to adjourn.
I second.
Isaac motions and Mary Ann seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned 7:17.